So we've removed the carrier from the ram. You do not need to do that. To change the gears, if ever you had to do it, you just remove these two screws and you can change the clutch there. So you never have to take the ram from the carrier. I can see here they've made a little slot here on the ram. I think that's to give it a bit more grip. But yeah, just, if you have to do this, just remember these two springs. Make sure you don't damage that. And the old way of taking a carrier off ram for a Pro 1000 is wedging a piece of wood underneath it, loosening the Allen bolt, and then wedging the ram out. Now you have to be very careful because you do have plastic parts down here, so be careful on that. But now you can look at the carrier. That's the top view. That's the bottom. So let's strip this and see what the major differences are. I can see they've used exactly the same carrier as before. So let's take the case ejector off. Okay. And then we're going to turn the drive bolt to remove the shell plate. We're going to turn the drive bolt, not righty-tighty now, not lefty-loosey. It's now lefty-tighty, so righty-loosey. So a 1/4 Allen key should do the trick. So just turn the bolt and the shell plate will pop off. There's your shell plate. It's exactly the same shell plate they've always used. I don't see any difference in it. Okay. And now we can carefully look at the inside. So I'm just going to hold that ball there because that will pop out. You can see there's your, which used to be a drive bolt. It's now a different setup there. And your priming system, everything else is the same. Okay. So let's see here. Let's pop that out. Now primer slider. There's the primer slider. The spring attaches on there. Just be careful. It attaches like this. There's a slot for the spring to go through and hook in. So just look at it when you attach that. Like I said, they give you two of them. Now there's the guide for small primers. So on the primer pin you don't have to change anything. It's just that you have to change. And your normal indexing spring and index ball. So let's just put that there so that can run away. So to remove the primer system from here, you can see they've attached it onto the hole where the auto disc chain used to attach. But they've made another hole there so that you can attach the auto disc still on this. So let's remove this and have a look at the priming system. Let's see now. Yeah, it can just wedge out. Just move the case tensioner out of the way. So there's your priming system. You can see it's a simple setup. This is exactly the same trough as on the 6-Pack Pro. Same pin. And it's just an adaptation of the 6-Pack Pro to fit the old Pro 1000 carrier. This is a plastic part. I do see that Lee has them listed on their website. So we should be able to get that. See that hole there? That is to remove the guide without removing this. So you just pop an Allen key in there, pop the guide out, put the new guide in. Very cleverly designed. So this is a much bigger primer pin spring, much stronger. And now I want to see if this primer pin is the same. It looks the same as the old Pro 1000 pin, but yeah, we're going to have to measure this and see. But there's your primer pin. Okay, so let's move to the bottom of the press of the carrier. With this plastic part here, we're going to take off. These screws, once they're set in the factory, they're a bit tight, so you have to force them a bit. That's the same. Used to hold the gear plate on the old Pro 1000. So they've adapted this plastic system here to replace that gear plate and to adapt to the new indexing system. So you got that cover. Okay, and then you got the clutch. Here's your clutch. This is exactly the same on the 6-pack Pro, Pro 1000 and Pro 4000 now. These are cheap and readily available. So let's take out the drive port. Now, that's a big difference. You can see it's the same one that they use, almost the same. I think it's a bit shorter that they use on the 6-pack Pro and the Pro 4000. So that's basically your driven clutch, and that will drive that. So the index rod, there's the index rod, fits through here, goes through the hole, and it drives the whole system. Okay, so that's the strip down, and then we sit with a normal Pro 1000 carrier. Okay, now to answer the question, can you adapt the priming system and maybe the index system to your old Pro 1000? The short answer is no, you can't. Because this won't fit your old Pro 1000's turret. So that won't work with a turret. Okay, so that's the indexing system out just because of that. The priming system is also going to be a problem because you've got the spring that activates it and it attaches at the bottom of the two leg here to a boss. So I don't know if you'd be able to take one of the older Pro 1000's case feed spring attach and modify that. I doubt it, and I don't know if the priming system is going to work with the old index system. So there might be a timing issue there. So at the moment, no, you cannot adapt this new parts to an older Pro 1000. Index rod is going to be a problem. The spring here attaching for the primers is going to be a problem. So yeah, I don't think you'd be able to adapt these to the Pro 1000, the older Pro 1000s. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's it. It's very basic, very easy. I see a difference. Okay, wait, I just spotted the difference in the carrier. The carrier is not the same. If you look closely there in the middle, where the old index gear used to fit with the drive port, there are 3 ridges in there that's been molded on in the casting process extra. So yeah, that answers the question for me now. Old Pro 1000 carriers is not the same as the new carrier. Small differences. The basics is the same, but that's also different there. So yes, no, you won't be able to adapt these new parts and to an older press. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to upgrade that 20-year-old Pro 1000 now. But let's put this back together, get the press back set up and running, and we'll have our final thoughts in the next video.